Hi, I am Enrique Bolaños. I am the creator and the CEO of gamescult.org. And this video, I'm gonna talk about why this is a terrible time for video games. I try to do all my content in English so it reaches out more people. I'm gonna try to do my best, but this is something I'm really passionate about, and yeah, since English is my second language, forgive me if I'm not 100% right or if I speak broken English at some point. So we're talking about why is this a really terrible time for video games. However, why it seems the opposite, right? Because we're seeing these great games with ultra realistic graphics. Um, Most of them are mods by independent hackers, but that's none of my business. However, uh, there's a situation in which we are all being effed in the ass, definitely. I'm talking about the new investors that are going into video games. What's happening right now, and this is kind of a cliche to say, but there's only remakes. There's only remakes being made. And first of all, I'm not against any remakes at all. I love remakes. However, since now they have the investors' pressure on them, you have to lower the costs as much as you can and profit as much as you can. Okay, so what's happening here is that companies are trying to save the most money they can. Okay, and how you do that? You go back to every game you've done through your career and find out how you can monetize and squeeze till the last drop every piece of content you've done throughout your career, right? So you start bringing all games back. That's cool. Everybody loves that. I do too. No, not hating on that. Okay. So after that, you make remasters. Not hating. I love that too. You make remakes. I like that too. No hate. Of course, except Final Fantasy VII Remake. That's something important that I would like to start with. That's a great example of what I'm talking about. When I was a kid, it was my favorite game, Final Fantasy VII on the PS1, and it was just long, with super hard areas that you could never reach. You had to actually find out how. It was long, and you went through a lot of journeys, different journeys, the whole world. And what happened here with the new game remake is that they purely made the first or two episodes of the game, right? And every character is a new DLC that will come out every year or so, right? So every character will be monetized now. Every episode of the game will be monetized separately, right? But you all knew that, right? You all knew that. I really felt kind of insulted when I played that game and found out that the whole game was just a part of the other game. It was, to my opinion, a terrible decision. I know they couldn't make the full Final Fantasy VII game as a remake with the graphics that they have today, but doing it in just one game. The whole story of the Final Fantasy VII in this format would be so big that it would never fit, not even in um, a game for PS5. It's really, really big. So that wouldn't, if they didn't do it the way they did now, it would have never happened. Just to start off that it's not a decision that they make at the end of the deal. It's a decision they made. Okay, so let's just do a Final Fantasy new Final Fantasy VII, just a couple of episodes, but let's make it huge, great, larger than life. But just 2 episodes, and we have a whole saga to do it, right? Okay, so they knew, and it sucks. The game is good, yeah, but maybe I'm a bit old, but this is for all the gamers out there that why would the companies just charge, I don't know, $60 for the whole story if they can charge $60 for each episode, right? So that makes sense in a business kind of way. But what happened is that it backfired for them because uh, really it's not one of the most uh, soul games, not even close. Maybe at the beginning, but not even close, right? So I'm gonna tell you a story about when a year ago I was still very, very much excited about video games, and I purchased Ghost of Tsushima for PS4. I'm still a PS4 user, so I purchased Ghost of Tsushima. I've been waiting for that game for at least 3 years when they first showed us the first gameplay. So 3 years waiting for that. I personally enjoyed more Sekiro Shadow Die Twice, but that was a good game. So I was just playing that game. I finished it. It was a great game. Next, right? So 6 months later, maybe a year later, they release a game called Ghost of Tsushima Complete Edition. So what does that mean? Does that mean that the game that you sold me before was not complete? Right? So this goes back to what I'm saying. Companies are trying to save as much money as they can. So they can sell you an incomplete product and just test the people on how much can they get away with. Okay? So when that happened with Cyberpunk a year ago about their game being in a total crap state when they sold it, but they made a ton of money in pre-sales. The company said, "Oh, we can do that. We just have to be a little more careful." Okay, so now they are trying to release games in states that are unplayable, just to check on how much can they get away with, right? Without investing what they need. So they just pull out a game, they just put it out. Everyone is waiting for it. They buy it. It's bad. Okay. So now they do an update. Okay, it is getting better, and they invested money in that. It's getting better, so they invested. So now it's playable. Gamers are happy with that. And instead of just going all in and paying the 10 million, for example, for the game to be the best game ever, just pay 1.8 million, do the least of work that you can, reusing um, gaming engines, reusing graphics, reusing stories, reusing everything, and just going by formulaic approaches, right? To save money instead of using the whole amount to move video games forward. Okay? Maybe these companies are just wanting, I mean, they just want their investors to be happy, right? They want to make the money. So it was like, yeah, here's Battlefield 2042. Instead of 10 million, it costs 2 million. It's the same thing, just new. We did spend on new graphics. Okay. We did spend on new interface. We did spend money on marketing, tons of marketing. But story is practically the same. We just changed the names. We just switched back and forth sections. And we just made a formulaic thing once again that gamers will buy because of what we already have built. But it's not the case. It bombed. It bombed bad. So what's happening is that they are okay. Now I'm going to do an update, maybe 1,500,000 more. Okay, I'm still 7 million good because I could have used that whole amount to do a good game, but instead of that, I didn't. I made a crap game, saved tons of money, make money on pre-sales, and just update it, update it until I find something that buyers enjoy and just maybe spend 4 million in total out of the 10, right? And what that situation is creating is that the PlayStation 5, it's not, nor the Xbox Series X, a next generation console. It's not. It's not. If you want me to tell you why they're not a next generation console, join the cult. Go to gamescult.org. That's my website. I'll see you there. Link in the description. The next generation console does not exist. It's a myth. It's not a generation console, next generation console. It's hiding as a next generation console, but what it is, it's a VIP console. It's a console for the rich and a console for the poor. PlayStation is for the poor. PlayStation 4 is for the poor. PlayStation 5 for the rich. As same as Xbox One is for the poor. Xbox Series X for the rich. The same games are out there. Some exclusives for the new console, yes. But I guess that's the benefit of having money to spend on video games. So it came from a video game that's a game, remember? It's not a work thing, it's not a computer, it's a game. Very smart game, very high quality game, but it's a game. It's not an investment. Unless you're wanting to open a store to play games or streaming a lot. Okay? So it's a console that if you want to play, you need a 4K TV, you need PlayStation device and PlayStation 5 device and the games. If you add that up, it goes over 30,000 Mexican pesos, which is $1,500. Okay? And if you go with a PS4 via, you get it for $299, and a TV it's another $200. You can play any game for $450. You can do that too, or spend 2,000 at least on the big quality PlayStation 5 thing. So what happens here is that what they're doing is scarcity. If you are aware of the news these days, there's a scarcity on everything because there were some issues, international issues, the COVID situation, It's been a weird couple of years. So there's scarcity, and they always knew scarcity works. They used it on the 70s with the oil. They used it every time they want to sell something fast. They use scarcity. So what's happening now with scarcity? Okay, it works. So PlayStation 5 invented that there was no chips, that there was none, I don't know, there's no PlayStation, it's gonna be hard, and it's bullshit. Bullshit. What they wanna do is just have their consoles pre sold before they even send it. They don't wanna have one PlayStation left in stock. And you know, I'm not, I would buy it. I mean, there's not gonna be PlayStation left in stock anyway, but they're going full 1500% profit. Easy, easy. There's no big marketing for it. People just want it. They're in line to get it. So they're saving tons of money. The games included in the launch and during this year, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Miles Morales, DLC, and they sell it as a full game. That just makes me sick. Ghost of Tsushima Complete Edition. So that gives me that makes me think the one that I played was not complete and you still sold it to me. Bullshit. Bullshit. So there's uh, many games in there. Demon Souls remake. Bullshit. That actually are worth it. And those are remakes or PS4 games that just look better on 4K. That is it. That is it. So they're using the old psychology technique for sales called scarcity, and they are selling these PlayStations only to people who are able to pay for that huge amount, like iPhone Max uh, compared price, like 30,000 pesos, like $2,000, $1,500 for a setup. That if you are going with a PS4 that has a lot of more games, you can get it with a TV for $500. So it's a situation of profiting over quality, but now everyone thinks it's okay to take it to the limit until the customers file a complaint. So you can go all the way to getting consumer complaints. And that's when you draw the line to, okay, let me do uh, an update. Grand Theft Auto Definitive Edition, the trilogy. Terrible state. Grand Theft Auto. I love Rockstar, but they've been profiting from the same games for 20 years now. Not no releases, only DLCs, and each DLC is charged separately. You cannot get it by playing. You cannot get. You have to pay. That's the only way. And what they did here with the definitive edition was just getting the game that's what's already in their files. They send it to another company that makes mobile games. But times have changed, they have the new tech. I'm sure they could do it. And they fucked it up terribly. Game's unplayable, it looks bad. But one thing is that Rockstar, what did they do? Instead of paying the 10 million investment to do it in house, you just send it outside with a shitty company, pay them 2 million instead of the 10, remade it. It was crap, of course, and then you just updated it until it was playable enough to just leave it there. I mean, it's Grand Theft Auto. People will forget about this, and the game will remain forever. People will buy it in the long run, right? So that's why video games are in a terrible situation these days, even though they seem to not be, because they can show you the best graphics ever, the best um, pre pre-release games, pre trailers, teasers, but they're gonna be out in 2024. Half of them are being delayed. So if you see a game that is 2023, dude, don't show me that shit because that's gonna be delayed to 2024. It's gonna be in a so-so state. They're gonna try it first on Steam. It's bad. It's really, really bad. Okay? The games that are really, really good and include the full game in just one game, like really, like Sekiro, Shadow Die Twice. There's no Sekiro 2. There is no sequel to Sekiro Shadow Dies Twice because they put the full story in just one game. That's what one of the last games to do that. And now it's not getting in the business plan. It's not. That's why also Hideo Kojima with Death Stranding, they put the whole game, and now it's not part of the business deal. So they did a definitive edition or some bullshit like that um, for Death Stranding, which is one of my favorite games, and it's just bullshit. Again, it's crap. It's just some lame cars, just more movement, more stuff. But actually, it's nothing new. I've seen the reviews, all of them. I haven't played it. I'm not going to. I'm not going to give them more money for the same shit and just add it in the VIP console. Show me new games. Okay, show me new stuff. The only something you have to look out for is the games made in Russia and made in China. Okay, you can find them in the new releases um, of games in any trailers, and you will find those games that are actually breaking barriers and making something cool because they don't have the same issues with the investors. They can do pretty much whatever they want. So um, that could be a huge impact for U.S. and Western video games because they do not have those limitations. And the U.S., well, let's say Western developers, they do have those limitations. They have the investors. So they have to take care of that money and they prefer to do what I mentioned before instead of moving forward video games and evolving. So that's my rant about it. Thank you for being here. My name is Enrique. Join the cult at gamescult.org. Click in the description. Thank you so much and bye bye.